Yo, what up? My name is Don, and by now, some of you know I do play guitar, and I am a full time streamer. And I wanted to talk about a phenomenon that's happening here in Canada and happening all around the world, really. And the thing that prompted me to talk about this was actually a video that I saw just yesterday by a YouTuber named KDH talking about how guitar stores are closing. He lives in Dublin, Ireland, and that is quite a ways away from me here in Ontario, Canada. But the thing with guitar stores closing is something that's happening worldwide, and I wanted to talk about it because the video struck me. It was so relatable to me, and it's something that I've experienced myself with the last guitar that I bought, and you can see it in the background right there. This V-shaped guitar, absolutely beautiful. It cost me over $2,000 Canadian, and so I want to get into the story of um, how I acquired that guitar and how that relates to guitar stores closing and or the result of guitar stores closing being that there's less and less options, there's less and less competition, and overall it's just a worse and worse experience for the consumer. So, over in Dublin, Ireland, he was talking about again a lot of the even bigger guitar stores closing and you know there's going to be a bunch of local factors that go into the situation over there, but regardless the end result is that, like I said, more stores are closing. A lot of stores are opting to go online and less locations, and when I say less locations, if you are a store that's lucky enough to have multiple locations, such as is the situation with one of our chains here in Canada, called Long and McQuaid. It is a nationwide chain, and even if you go into that one, such as say a big store in the United States, because I know I have a lot of viewers from the U.S. So let's compare it to something like a Guitar Center or a Sam Ash. And I know Guitar Center has had its troubles over the years, and I believe Sam Ash is closing. If am I not mistaken with that, Sam Ash? Um, I believe I read something about that. I'm just going to type it in here. Yeah, store closing sale. So Sam Ash is another big retailer in the United States. I'm not sure when the exact. It says it is with a heavy heart that we announce the effective May 2nd, 2024. Or that effective May 2nd, 2024. So there you go. I guess Sam Ash is gone by now. That's sad. It really is sad. When stores that provide an awesome experience basically get pushed to the wayside because of the shifting changes to the market. So, in my own local experience, I went to go buy this guitar. What's happening with my dread there? I went to go buy this guitar 2 years ago, and in 2022, I think I bought it in April. And basically, when that guitar came out, it's not like I went to the guitar store and I was like, "Hey, I'm looking for a guitar." How it happened was, I'm a fan of ESP guitars. That is an ESP LTD guitar. ESP is the overarching brand who has a lot of smaller brands under it. LTD is one of those. They make when I say cheaper guitars, I don't mean cheap as in bad. I mean cheaper as in not like the four or $5,000 super expensive top end ones, right? So they make more affordable, I guess is the word I should use. They make more affordable guitars for I would guess the enthusiast and the commonplace consumer, because they do make guitars LTD all the way down to the couple $100 price point, right? So LTD is a an ESP subsidiary, I guess you could call it, that is it's a a brand that encompasses a wide range of guitar players, and so a lot of people, if they like ESP or they like, what ESP is putting out, it's easy for them to kind of latch onto this brand. That's what happened to me many years ago, and so finally, after 16 years of owning this camo guitar that you see further in the corner there, I decided to look at what ESP was coming out with a couple years ago, and I saw that arrow, and I'll just pull it here on camera for you real quick. So it is absolutely gorgeous. This thing's absolutely gorgeous. That's my baby. You can see a mark on it there, right there. I damaged it. Yes, that is a mark. That is not a piece of dust or anything. That is a little blemish, but at least you know it's mine. It's unique. But this thing's absolutely gorgeous to me, and so I had to have it, and so I started looking, where to buy it, which led me to looking, obviously, first and foremost, at the biggest chain here in Canada, Long McQuaid. And when I looked at Long McQuaid, normally the situation on Long McQuaid is that when you walk in, you're greeted with um, most the locations are a decent size. The location in the city I live in is a decent size, and the location in the adjacent city to me is an egregious size. It's quite a big store. I'll be completely honest. And either way, in both stores, there is a predominant area where it's just a wall of guitars. Right, that's like what every guitar player is going to gravitate towards. But the experience here at, you know, every Long McQuaid that I've been to, is that you are greeted with a wall of Gibsons and Fenders, and that's basically 90% of your options. Every body style that Gibson and Fender comes out with, at least the more popular ones, um, and a lot of Stratocasters, and obviously a lot of Les Pauls, and Epiphone as well. Sorry, I forgot that. So Gibson, Fender, Epiphone. That's basically it. And then there's this small little nook and cranny in pretty much, I would say, every location. And I want other people who've been in Long McQuaid's in other parts of Canada, other provinces in Canada, to chime in here. If the setup in your Long McQuaid is the same, there's this small little nook and cranny for more, I don't know, I guess get Long McQuaid categorizes them as more custom, maybe more niche guitars. It's going to be things like your ESPs, like your Jacksons, like, in my opinion, it doesn't have to be niche or custom, but your more interesting guitars, right? There's a much smaller section dedicated to anything that would make a in my opinion, a new guitar player feel cool. Otherwise, it's just your standard strats, your standard Les Paul shapes, whether you're going to get a Gibson Les Paul or an Epiphone Les Paul, doesn't matter. You got your single cut, and don't get me wrong, my camo guitar is an ESP LTD Eclipse. The Eclipse is pretty much based off a Les Paul body. They're practically the same. The cut of the shoulder cut is a little bit different of the one horn. That's why it's called a single cut body. If for anybody who doesn't play guitar. Um, but it's practically the same guitar, and while I love mine, what influenced me to get that guitar was actually Slash, the guitar player Slash from the band Guns N' Roses, primarily. And he, of course, plays a Gibson Les Paul. Well, Gibsons cost a pretty penny, right? And so back in the day, I actually you can see another guitar back here, the black one, which you can see basically the body shape. It's got that Les Paul shape where it's like a bell bottom. The bottom's quite bulbous, and then it's got the single horn cut right here. It's behind everything, but you can still make it out. That was my first guitar actually, so I was, you know, I did not get away from getting into just buying a Les Paul body shape myself. Of course, I didn't buy it from Long McQuaid. I actually bought it from a store called Steve's Music, which still does exist. I don't know how they still exist, but I'm thankful that they do still exist, up in Toronto. And obviously, many people know Toronto. It's one of our main cities here in Ontario. That store is crammed up there in the city, and I actually was looking at a Jackson that they had for sale, and they actually listed it on Amazon too, which is quite surprising. No price bump up, even though it was listed on Amazon. So that was pretty cool. I hope that store can continue to exist. But basically, going back to Long McQuaid with your selection of only Fenders, Epiphones, and Gibsons, it's very uninspiring when you're looking to say you've been playing guitar for a couple years already and you're looking to kind of evolve maybe your guitar collection, or you're looking to just evolve as a player and just do something different, get into something different. Well, there's no choice. So, not only is there no choice, but if you are not attracted to one of those guitar brands and or body styles, Strat or Les Paul, um, you start to look online. And so nowadays, and I would say for a long time, it's very important for a business to have their online experience be very easy, like the most non-frustrating thing that you can have. And I used to work at a camera sales store who never learned this lesson. Never, 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 never learned this lesson. So much so that even me as an employee of this store who had a discount to this store, an employee discount, right? I would still, in certain situations, rather shop across the border at a shop like B&H Photo, which is in New York, just because the online experience is amazing. Not only is the like things like, is this item in stock? That should be a relatively easy thing to check on a website. The experience to find that information out should be very easy. And when you type in a word in the search on a website, the back end of the website, the search engine of the website should be working. There's really no excuse, within the past 10 years to not have a website that has a back end catalog that somebody can search a word. Say I type in the word red. Well, listings with the word red or red in the description should come up, right? Um, Prioritized by relevance, right? But you would type in red in our company website and like completely unrelated things would come up and nothing would come up related to what you're looking for. And so you would have to dive into the individual categories, which furthermore took, anywhere from 3 to 6 seconds to load every time. So it felt like you're back in like the dial up days or like the early DSL internet days. And it was just the weirdest thing, right? So it's very important if you do not have a good in-store experience or your location is in an unideal area where a lot of people maybe can't make it to your store. If you want to succeed as a store, especially a store that doesn't have multiple locations, you better make your online website experience top notch. And my the previous company I worked at, the camera sales company, didn't. And lo and behold, they are a nationwide company here in Canada. They're a company who has, makes like millions of dollars a year. And guess what? Well, they went bankrupt and they had to do one of those bankrupt filings and restructurings, right? Where they let go a lot of people, including me. Same thing happens in the guitar space. Let's talk about Long McQuaid. I actually went to apply for a job at Long McQuaid in the adjacent city to the one that I live in, and which is the bigger location that I referenced before. That location has about 30 approximate employees. And I've said this before. I'm just going to take my calculator out right now. If you have, 30 employees on an average wage, an average salary of, I don't know, $50,000, it's not high at all, right? Especially nowadays, right? It's a whole different conversation, but a wage or salary of $50,000 is not a lot times, let's say, 30 people. That's $1.5 million that you're paying out just in employee wages for a store that where the website experience is horrendous, horrendous. It's the same thing as the camera store that I used to work at, where results don't come up, where the navigation of the website is slow, where the modern feel of the website is another thing. The experience of the website is horrendous, right? Let's compare that to a website, just like I was comparing my previous camera store that I worked at to a store across the border that I didn't add this in, but B&H Photo only has one location, and so they prioritize the experience not only in the physical location but on the website. It is so easy and so amazing to shop on that website. Well, enter Sweetwater for guitars. Sweetwater is located in, I believe, was it? Oh, I always get this wrong. So let's just type it in here. It is Oh, can we get a location? Fort Wayne, Indiana. I always get that wrong. Sweetwater is in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I am in Ontario, Canada. And when I was looking for this guitar, this one right here, right there at the end of my fingers, that it's called the Violet Andromeda. It was beautiful paint job, like I showed you. Um, I started shopping for it immediately. Like I said, I looked at Long McQuaid, and Long McQuaid had it on their website, but underneath the picture, which, by the way, this is has to do with the experience. Long McQuaid only had the stock picture of the guitar. They don't have, of course, they didn't have it in stock. They can't take any pictures of it. Um, I don't know quite how the I don't know if it's like a bidding war. Say, so when a manufacturer comes up with a product, companies, distributors, like companies that want to sell that product, I guess have to put their orders in, right? And this is how it worked in the camera store that I worked at. You put your order in for however many items, and then they get shipped to you, and then you sell them, right? So when it comes to this guitar, this one right here behind me, um, I went and started just scouring the internet for any location within Canada that may have had this guitar. I called a plethora of places. I called every place. I called places outside of my province. I called places at the other end of Canada in Alberta and BC. I just called everywhere because I'm just like, if it's in Canada and I can pay for it in Canadian dollars, I don't care where it is, just send it to me. I need it. I want it. I wanted it that bad, right? And couldn't find it anywhere. So I ended up calling Sweetwater, and they were not only able to, well, first of all, I found it on their website, and the experience on the website is amazing. If you haven't shopped for a guitar on Sweetwater and you're in the USA, I don't know what you're doing. And number two, if you're a Canadian and you're looking for a specific guitar and you cannot find it at our horrendous experience of a store called Long McQuaid, I implore you to go check out Sweetwater, because even though it is only one store, the experience on the website is amazing. The categorization of the products is amazing. The layout of the website is amazing. To navigate through the website, the UI and the user experience, which is something I complain so much about in games, but on websites as well, the user experience is so fantastic. And so it's easy to find the product that I'm looking for. And it's easy to see, even as a Canadian, I see the price in US dollars. It's easy conversion rate. I can see that I can pay for the duties and everything, blah blah blah. It's just easy. It's very easy. Not only when I got to the product page for the guitar, do you get multiple pictures of not any stock, image off of some random website or off ESP's website. They take pictures, professional pictures. They have an in-house photographer. They take quality pictures of every single, and if they don't have an in-house photographer, it's still like, they've trained their employees to be good at doing photography. Somebody does it, right? They have a photography team, and they take pictures, like 360 pictures, like every angle you could want, body only, neck only, the side angles, headstock, all the hardware of the guitar, the specific one you're buying. So I had all the pictures of this guitar before I bought it. They also take a picture of the information on the back of the headstock, which is in relation to where it is made and the serial number. And I specifically wanted a guitar that was made in Korea. And I've said this before in the guitar review that I did for that guitar, not because there's anything wrong with other manufacturing facilities that ESP uses, such as the ones located in Indonesia. They make fantastic guitars as well. It's just that um, I this is like something specific that I wanted. I wanted my guitar to come from the Korean-made factories, which have a history, years and years and years of history of doing fantastic work. And so, for me, because I hadn't bought a guitar in 16 years and I was spending over $2,000, all things said and done, this guitar, by the way, on in US dollars, it's only 13.99. So that says a lot about the exchange rate even 2 years ago when I bought it in 2022. It's not pretty for us Canadians. Exchange rate, tax, and then it was a maybe just under $200 with import fees, duties, whatever, whatever. I think it came to 2,100 and change. Um, Whereas if I were to buy that same guitar here at Long and McQuaid from my local store, I would have had to pay over $2,200 because they want to mark it up that much because they're criminals. And number two, I wouldn't have got the guitar for months because on Long McQuaid's website, what they do to try and entice you to buy things from their garbage business, in my opinion, is they will say in stock at our supplier. Of course, it's in stock at the supplier, but I need it to be in stock at your store, or you're not getting my money. So I was happy to spend my $2,000 with a United States based store, Sweetwater, which is, again, one of the top guitar stores in the entire, I would say, honestly, in the entire world. Um, in KDH's video, just going back to that real quick, he did mention how Sweetwater and Thomann, which I think is a guitar store based in the UK, it's spelled Thomann. Um, yes, and that is in the UK somewhere. They also just have a fantastic online experience, and I've even considered ordering some Harley Benton, speaker cabinets from all the way over in the UK because, I mean, like, price is amazing, and just the website is amazing, like, it's almost the same. I've always said this, the first experience is so important. It doesn't matter what it is, the first experience is so important. So if your website is crap, why would I go back to your website? Like, why would I walk back into a frustrating experience? Why would I, walk back? That's the same as walking into a store and just having to deal with clueless employees, right? That's the same as walking into a store or having to deal with aggressive employees or employees that hound you, which, was definitely the experience. That was definitely the situation with one of our employees back when I worked at the camera store. I'm not going to say his name or anything, but it was the type of environment where, and I just hated this. It was the type of environment where instead of being there for helpful information and just enjoying the environment that you work in, for some people, it became, that shark mentality where, oh, we have to push products down customers' throats. And I'm sitting there going, we don't even have the best products. What are you doing? Like, we're acting like we're like, you know, King Kong here, and this just isn't it. So, I really do like how stores like B&H in the camera business world and um, Sweetwater and Toman in the guitar world are understanding the um, they're understanding the business environment, they're understanding the online environment, and they're understanding how to capitalize on that experience, even though it's online with products that you would probably rather put your hands on, like a guitar. I was very nervous to order this guitar because, one, I don't know what it's like. I don't know what it feels like. This is a new shape for me. The V. I had never played a V before, so I didn't even know if I was going to like it. So all I could do was cross my fingers a little bit, watch a ton of YouTube review videos, see how it sat on other people in as many videos and angles and scenarios as I could see, standing up, sitting down, whatever it was, and just take the leap of faith. So on one hand, while it does suck to not have that experience that is very unique and can be you know sometimes, I don't wanna say it's like once in a blue moon, but it does have the potential to be very awesome when you go into a store, you get to see and feel a product, and you're dealing with somebody who isn't pushy, who is, very welcoming and educational and teaches you about that product. There's something to be said about that, and so, on one hand, I definitely miss that experience because I can tell you when I walk into most stores nowadays, and it's been that way for a while, I don't want to be bothered by anybody because I just do my research online. So if you're like that, definitely sound off in the comments below. And if you have your own story where you've dealt with a store like this, or if you find that the hobby that you love, the same thing is happening in the kind of the industry, the world that you're kind of attached to, let me know because this is happening the world over where a lot of stores that would have had an easier time surviving without the advent of the internet. The internet didn't always have this strength, right? But um, the ability to have a great online experience, and then not only that, last thing, when I ordered this guitar, it shipped to me within a week, whereas Long McQuaid was gonna take months. I think it was between, like, over 4 months, I'm gonna say 4 to 6 months, 4 to 7 months to get to me. That is unacceptable when you're asking to tie up a couple of $1,000 of a customer's, money, right? So, that's all I got to say about that. As a Canadian, just wrapping up, I hope that we can go back to like 2008 when our money was equal to the United States. And, I didn't have money to spend then, but I would really like to see our money not be such crap because the shopping experience is pretty abysmal over here, I would say, in many of our industries because and the reason really is because many of our industries are oligopolies, and so as a Canadian you really have no choice in the first place. You just have to be spoon fed what they give you, and often what they give you is just complete crap. It's a crap experience, it's a crap product, it's crap knowledge, it's crap employees, it's just crap. It's terrible. So if you're a Long McQuaid employee, sorry, but I'm not sorry. I'm like, the store sucks. And for anybody else, sound off in the comments with your stories if you agree, if you disagree, if you find that, like I said, like this, the same thing is happening when you've been shopping for something that you love. And other than that, please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.